For over 120 years, every generation of kids has been smarter than the one before it, until now. If you feel like you're losing your teen to a digital fog, if their attention is shattered and their memory feels almost non existent, you're not imagining it. The data finally caught up to your intuition. Today, we're unpacking three things. First, the 2010 decoupling, why school performance dropped the moment tech entered the classroom. Second, the biological glitch, why the human brain literally cannot learn from a screen the way it does from a person. And third, the analog architect, how to rebuild your teen's cognitive strength without throwing every iPad out the window. But if it's your first time here, my name is Jonathan, and welcome to Baffled, the podcast geared to help you understand your misunderstood teen. If you're getting any value from this channel, from this video, please subscribe and follow us for more information.
Name is Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath. I'm a former teacher turned cognitive neuroscientist who focuses on human learning. And I do not receive funding, nor have I ever, from big tech. So a sad fact our generation has to face is this. Our kids are less cognitively capable than we were at their age. Since we've been standardizing and measuring cognitive development since the late 1800s, every generation has outperformed their parents. And that's exactly what we want. We want sharper kids. And the reason for this largely has been school. Each generation spends more time in school. We use school to develop our cognition. Congratulations, you see your correlation. Until Gen Z. Gen Z is the first generation in modern history to underperform us on basically every cognitive measure we have, from basic attention to memory to literacy to numeracy to executive functioning to even general IQ, even though they go to more school than we did.
So let's start here. We've been told for years that technology makes kids digital natives, faster, smarter, more connected. But as you just heard, the research across over 80 countries shows something completely different. The more students use computers for learning, the worse they perform. Let that sit for a second. Here's the problem. We've confused access to information with the development of the mind. We are raising a generation that has more information than any generation in history, but less ability to actually use it. They can Google something, but struggle to think deeply about anything. Now, biblically, this isn't new. Scripture draws a clear line between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is having the data. Wisdom is knowing what to do with it. And what we've done is flood our kids with knowledge while completely bypassing the discipline required to develop wisdom. And stewardship isn't just about money, it's about the mind. It's about the mind God gave you. But here's the question. If schools are using this technology and everyone else is doing it, why is it failing? It's not a software problem, it's a biological wall. God designed the human brain in a specific way, and most of us are trying to climb that wall with the wrong gear. Let's go back and listen to what the doctor has to say again.
So why? What happened? What happened around 2010 that decoupled schooling from cognitive development? It can't be school. Schools basically look the same. It can't be biology. This hasn't had enough time to change. The answer appears to be the tools we are using within schools to drive that learning. Across 80 countries, as Jean was just saying, if you look at the data, once countries adopt digital technology widely in schools, performance goes down significantly, to the point where kids who use computers about 5 hours per day in school for learning purposes will score over 2/3 of a standard deviation less than kids who rarely or never touch tech at school. And that's across 80 countries. Bring it home to the US. Let's go to the US. We have our NAEP. That's our big data. Take any state, and here's a fun experiment you can try. Take any state NAEP data, compare that to when that state adopted one-to-one technology widely, and watch what happens. The NAEP data will plateau and then start to drop. Now, as Jean said, of course, this is all correlative. What we really want is causative. To get causation, what you need is academic research and you need mechanisms, explanations for why we're seeing what we're seeing. Luckily, we have academic research stretching back to 1962 that shows the exact same story for 60 years. When tech enters education, learning goes down. In fact, one of the biggest ed psychologists right now, Dylan William out of the UK, recently said, ed tech is a revolution that's been coming for 60 years. And we're going to have to wait another 60 because it ain't doing anything. Now that's research, but now we need mechanisms. Luckily, over the last about 2 decades, we've been doing a lot of work in what we call the science of learning. How do human beings learn? And we now have the clear understanding of why tech does not work for learning. And it is all biological. It's not that the tech isn't being used well enough. We haven't been trained enough. We need better programs. It's we have evolved biologically to learn from other human beings, not from screens. And screens circumvent that process. I won't go too deeply into the mechanisms. They can get boring, but just know they're there if you want to talk about them. So thank you guys.
Okay, so here's what the research shows. The human brain was not designed to learn primarily from screens. It was designed to learn from people. See, screens are efficient, but the brain is relational. When a teen watches a video, their brain processes it as entertainment, not as something to imitate, not as something to deeply internalize. So here's the deeper issue. We are trying to outsource discipleship and education to algorithms. And the result is what I would call spiritual ghosting. Your teen is physically present, but mentally checked out, cognitively drifting, spiritually disengaged. Now, to think about this biblically, why did Jesus have to come in the flesh? Why not just write truth in the sky? Why not drop the book straight from heaven? Because transformation requires presence. This is the incarnational principle. Truth is not just downloaded, it's transferred through relationship. This is why the Apostle Paul says in 1 Corinthians 11:1, to follow me as I follow Christ, or imitate me as I imitate Christ. Not watch me from a distance, not subscribe to my content. He talks about real life, real learning, life on life learning. So now if the problem is biological, then the solution has to be lifestyle. And stay with me, because just in a moment, I'm going to give you 3 specific shifts you can start this week to reverse the cognitive decline in your home. And if this is already helping you see your teen differently, hit that subscribe button, because here at More to Life, here at the Baffled podcast, we believe that your choices affect your future. And that starts with how you lead your home. So now let's get practical, because the default mode of parenting is this: digital pacification. It's easier to hand a kid a screen than to engage in the friction of real interaction. But here's the truth: growth requires friction. Just like a muscle, the brain only develops when it meets resistance, and technology removes resistance. So how do we rebuild? Here are 3 shifts. Number 1, the friction phase. Create tech-free zones. Not as a punishment, but as training. Consider the dinner table, no screens. Car rides, no screens. Let the brain wrestle with boredom. Let conversation happen. That's not wasted time. That's cognitive development. Number 2, the mentorship model. Stop saying, go do your homework. Start saying, show me what you're learning. Reinsert yourself into the process. Because education was never meant to be isolated, it was meant to be relational. Number 3, the creation shift. Move your teen from consumer to creator. If they're on a device, are they building something, writing, designing, solving, or are they just scrolling? Because one builds the brain and the other numbs it. We have a word for that: doom scrolling. But here's the tension. Reclaiming your home like this, it's a battle. And there's one more insight, a powerful brain hack from this research that can improve memory dramatically, and it's based on how we end our days. Studies show that if we eliminate or reduce screen time between the last 60 to 90 minutes of our day, we actually sleep better. So one brain hack that you can consider is don't let your kids take their phones or their devices with them to the bedroom. Keep them with you. Lock them in a in a safe deposit box or something, but don't let them go into their rooms, into the privacy of their bedrooms with that screen. That is a brain hack from this research that we can do. Another thing you can do is books before phone, scripture before phone. Don't let your kids have access to their phones right away. So let's land there. Gen Z's cognitive struggles are not because they're less capable, it's because of the tools we handed them. We handicapped this generation. They're not broken, they're just undertrained in what it means to be human. But here's the gap. You might be thinking, how do I get my teen to put the phone down without starting a war in my house? And that is exactly what we're covering here in this video, that we walk through a step-by-step script in having the tech conversation with your teen in a way that makes them feel empowered and not attacked. So if you're getting any value from this channel, make sure you subscribe and like this video for the YouTube algorithm. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, follow us there as well. And remember, the choices you make today are building their future tomorrow. I'll see you there.